Hi, this is Melissa from Under the Radar, where we tell the stories of awesome individuals and what makes them so awesome. In this interview, I sat down with Mrs. LaTrinda Sherrill, Deputy Chief of Education for the Mayor of Pittsburgh's office. She shared with me the ups and downs of her career, as well as what drives her passion for empowering the youth in Pittsburgh. I hope you enjoy our conversation, and to see the full interview, go to www.undertheradar.com. Peace and thank you. Deputy Chief of Education. So describe, what does that mean?
So what does that mean? And every day I'm discovering that. So currently I work on a number of initiatives. I am not only the mayor's person for education, but also for workforce development. Okay. And so anything from preschool and trying to understand how Pittsburgh can become a national player as it relates to preschool learning and quality preschool learning, out of school time activities. So ensuring that every Pittsburgher, young Pittsburgher, is connected to an after school program or a summer learning experience. And then also trying to push young people into that next step. And so that's where the career stuff comes in. So are they gonna go to college? Are they gonna be in a career preparatory program? What does that look like after high school? But trying to get people to make sure all of our kids are planning for their next step. All too often, I think, there are numbers of shortages in schools, and sometimes that includes guidance counselors. And so how can we use the bully pulpit of the mayor's office to ensure that kids know it's important to plan for your next step? I definitely have a passion for youth. I also have a passion for, I'm realizing I do like youth and workforce. Like that is just like my thing. Workforce in general. What do those workforce pathways look like for the underrepresented folks? For the folks that didn't go to college, but guess what? There are all kinds of tech jobs out there now that you don't need a college degree for. How can we train people in 8 weeks for something like that? And like get them in and get a company to say on the front end, I want to help this person out. And so like I really love that. I love the rush of it, love convincing companies about it, and then I love working with the partners to develop the pathways. So I think I'm passionate about that too.
So it's safe to say, being the Deputy Chief of Education, you are the face of, I guess, rebuilding the youth and the workforce here in Pittsburgh.
Something like that.
That's a big task.
That's a big task, yes. I guess you can say that, I suppose. 3 words that describe me. One, I think, is passionate. And do I tell more about the word?
Yeah, you can.
Okay. So one I would say is passion and passionate, because sometimes I feel I'm very strongly connected to an idea or an action. And sometimes that can push me to achieve whatever needs to happen, but sometimes that can also hinder seeing the next step if there's a roadblock. But passion and being passionate is something that I do take pride in. I need to learn how to balance it, but I do take pride in that. Another word I would say is outgoing. I'm always willing to experience new things, travel to new places, live in different places. I've never been afraid of that. And another thing I would say is resilient. I think I have learned at a very young age that life goes on. And so being able to bounce back from various obstacles and hurdles is just something that I've always been able to do well.
When you speak about resilience as another word that describes you, so some people may, and that's the whole purpose of Under the Radar, is to reach that market of people who don't see people like themselves, whether they be women, whether they be black, Mexican, just people of color who are doing different things and may have gone through some type of adversity. So if you have any adversity that you've gone through, what would that be that you would, for the next person?
Yeah, so like right now, I mean, I'm experiencing something at work that could have been avoided with better communication. And it's something that I feel like I've wasted a lot of time on because something could have been avoided because of better communication. And I think that what I'm trying to do a better job, and what I said that I can easily do sort of in my personal life, which is moving on. I need to do that in my work life. Also move on. And so I think it's important to, you know, be passionate about something, care about something, but always know when the next battle is there, and when you need to fight that one and move away from the one that you think you may have lost. I sort of won this one, but not in the time frame that I wanted to. It's been very slow.
Gotcha.
And so I think in our professional life as women of color, it's very important to not only, you know, stay focused on your goal, but not lose your cool. Because I lost my cool throughout this process, and I need to bounce back, regroup, you know, wave the white flag, and keep it moving. And you know, I think that's a part of resilience. That's a resilience professional piece that I haven't necessarily developed. So I'm working on that.
Working in politics or political world, do you see yourself holding office? Like, what's the future?
I honestly can say right now, no.
No?
Because it's just, the needle always moves as a politician. What I keep seeing, continue to see, the needle moves. And sometimes you fight for people that don't even know that you're fighting for them. Like, and so you will never be thanked for that. And you can do everything that you want to do for them. And sometimes they just don't know that behind the scenes you're always fighting for them. And so it's a thankless job. You also owe a lot of people all the time.
The ask. There's always an ask.
There's always an ask. And sometimes you want to just tell people, your idea is crazy and I have nothing for you. That's a potential vote, potential donor. You just have to be careful about that. And so politics is not for me. Holding an office may be a different story, but you just can't separate the two. Like, it's just very hard in anything to separate the two. So
let's say if an initiative, and you know, I'm versed in politics, but you're more versed, so you can tell me if I'm off base with it, but let's say education. So something comes up, and it may be Pittsburgh or another part of this country, and politics is not politics, education is the driving force for that office, and those passing those initiatives, or in workforce, and it's a very low job income area, job workplace. So what would you do?
I would find someone to support.
So it wouldn't be you wouldn't jump in there.
I don't know. I watch it every day. Like, it is an interesting thing. Like, and then I always think about, like, well, what office would I run for too? Because
council,
I don't know. Like, it's really that. I mean,
state representative.
Honestly, so I think about the work as a council member on city government is not about fighting for poverty in these underrepresented votes. It's about getting these potholes filled and parks. That's most of the work. So it's not. So it's very difficult for me to see myself just focusing on those type of issues when I know there are larger problems. Like, I don't want to have to say that to someone. Like, you're worried about your pothole, but yet let me tell you how much money your household makes. I have constituents. I can't tell that message. Like, I can't say it in a nice way. So I don't know. I don't know. I think that maybe, you know, I would love to someday be in the White House. That is definitely a dream of mine. But, you know, I don't know. I want to work for corporate again. I want to be an entrepreneur, and I don't know. I want to do something else.
Well, I'm so glad you sat down and talked with me.
Of course.
If there were any parting words or advice that you'd give to a young woman that is thinking of the political way of going through getting her career, or just what you started in, I know you have your MBA, what did you start in?
Communication sciences, so speech pathology.
Okay, so what was some advice if someone's at a standstill of which way they want to go?
Honestly, you know, I totally believe, you know, when I was 21, you know, everybody was telling me, like, you need to go straight to grad school and this should totally be your next step. And I just knew that that was not my next step. And so at 21, you have time to think through that, and you have time to explore something. And so my thing was all about service, and maybe I should get more involved in the nonprofit sector in Pittsburgh. And so I just did that. And so I would just say, whatever your gut is telling you to do, do that. Because guess what? If you want to do something else later, you have time.
Yeah.
You're not going to make or break anything at 21. You'll be fine. So that's what I want to tell people. If you want to just explore dance at 21, go do that. Why not? Only time, I mean, you don't want to live life wondering what if. And I refuse to, have all these people who didn't experience Pittsburgh with me, or not there when I was going through stuff in Pittsburgh, tell me that I need to go do X.
Exactly.
No. Let me do this. And 6 years later, this is where I am. Like, so just trust the process.
Yeah, trust the
Your
process.
internal, just trust it sometimes, and you'll go far.
Thank you so much for sharing.